Hello, my name is Kojiro. Welcome to my channel, Good Vibration. If you do not have subscribed yet to this channel, click here in the logo around here. Yes, to subscribe. Okay. Everything in the world is interconnected. Everything is moving. Finance, economics, trading, human evolution, nature, everything is interconnected. And we have to be honest with ourselves. The world today is in chaos. It is not a harmonious, balanced, and equilibrated place as we think it is. It is rough, it is difficult, and well, many times it is unfair. In one way or another, everybody in the world is suffering and struggling through life. And at the core, it is our own fault as human beings in society. And it has been this way for a very, very, very long time. So in this video, I'm going to present one of my favorite dialogues of all time, which gave us a glimpse of the underlying cause of our own suffering. And if we don't act accordingly and fast enough, it will be our own demise, our own auto-destruction, and the fall of our own species as human beings. This dialogue is the one between the great conqueror, Alexander the Great of Macedonia, with a relatively unknown Indian sage and sanyasi and yogi called Dandamis, also known as Mandanes. And we can know this took place for real around 2,500 years ago, thanks to the surviving narratives of several Greek historians and others that followed Alexander in his conquests and expeditions. Men like Diodorus, Plutarch, Strabo the geographer, and Arrian, like in the Anabasis of Alexander by Arrian. And we can see evident that in the 4th century BC, as it is today, more alive than ever, the eternal struggle between matter and spirit, between materialism and spirituality. So yes, our problem today, nowadays, may be our lack of spirituality or consciousness, and our over-exaggerated love, desire, and obsession with material wealth and power. We think we have evolved a lot, and we're in the pinnacle of achievement, you know. And don't get me wrong, we do have advanced in many areas throughout the ages, but not much has changed since then, you know, spiritually speaking. The desire and thirst for material wealth, power, and dominion by men throughout the ages has been disproportionately huge, that it almost seems like an error in our own DNA, a glitch. And most of the problems in the world today, economic, wars, overconsumption of natural resources, climate change, and poverty in itself stems and are related to this fact. Because we humans are the only living organisms on Earth that will try to accumulate more than what we need and we will use in all our entire existence, even passing and stepping all over our own species, our fellow human brothers and sisters, and destroying along the way, you know, our own habitat, our own house, planet Earth, in order to achieve, you know, individual and institutional goals and objectives, even threatening the perpetuation of future generations and, well, the entire human race. No other animal or organism does the same as humans do. And we think we're better. In fact, animals, they live in a constant state of balance and equilibrium because nature and its cycles are wise and will never try to auto-destruct itself, at least consciously. Our ego, pride, vanity, and selfishness go way, way, way beyond our needs just for survival, creating a disequilibrium that is logically unsustainable in the long term. So when Alexander and his army had conquered Greece, Egypt, almost all the Middle East and the Persian Empire, his ambition drove him even farther into the east, wanting to conquer ancient India. And there he met near a town called Taxila at the time, the only man, in my opinion, that stood up and could beat Alexander the Great, the mighty warrior and conqueror in his own way. When Alexander's forces arrived at Taxila, which is nowadays somewhere in Pakistan, he sent his messenger Onesikritos to bring to him a known ascetic sanyasi Brahmin leader and yogi called Dandamis, who usually roamed the riverbanks and the forests of the area with his disciples. And when they found him, Onesikritos said, "Hail to thee, O teacher of Brahmins, the son of the mighty god Zeus, being Alexander, who is the sovereign lord of all men, asks you to go to him. And if you comply, he will reward you with great gifts. But if you refuse, he will cut off your head." And Dandamis, he was lying naked over some leaves, relaxed, untroubled, and calmly replied, "I also am a son of Zeus, if Alexander be such. I want nothing that is Alexander's, for I am content with what I have. While I'll see that he wanders with his man over sea and land for no advantage, and is never coming to an end of his wanderings. Go and tell Alexander that God, the supreme king, is never the author of insolent wrong, but is the creator of light, of peace, of life, of water, of the body of man and of souls. He receives all men when death set them free, being in no way subject to evil disease. He alone is the God of my homage, who abhors slaughter and instigates the wars." And then he continued, "Alexander is no God, since he must have a taste of death. How can such as he be the world's master, when he has not yet seated himself on a throne of inner universal dominion? Neither as yet has he entered living into Hades, nor does he know the course of the sun through the central regions of the earth, while the nations on its boundaries have not so much as heard his name. Know this, however, that what Alexander offers me and the gifts he promised are things to me utterly useless. The things I prize and find of real use and worth are these leaves, which are my house, these blooming plants which supply me with daily food, and the water which is my drink, while all other possessions which are amassed with anxious care are wont to prove ruinous to those who gather them, and cause only sorrow and vexation, with which every poor mortal is fully fraught. As for me, I lie upon the forest leaves and have nothing which requires guarding, close my eyes in tranquil slumber, whereas had I anything to guard, that would banish sleep. The earth supplies me with everything, even as a mother her child with milk. I go wherever I please, and there are no cares with which I am forced to cumber myself." And then he continued, "Should Alexander cut off my head, he cannot also destroy my soul. My head alone then silent will remain, leaving the body like a torn garment upon the earth, whence also it was taken. I then, become in spirit, shall ascend to my God, who enclosed us all in flesh and left us upon the earth to prove whether, when here below, we shall live obedient to his ordinances, and who also will require of us all, when we depart hence to his presence, an account of our life, since he is judge of all proud wrongdoing, for the groans of the oppressed become the punishment of the oppressor." And he ended saying, "Let Alexander then terrify with these threats those who wish for wealth and who dread death. For against us these weapons are both alike powerless. The Brahmins neither love gold nor fear death. Go then and tell Alexander this: Dandamis has no need of aught that is yours, and therefore will not go to you. And if you want anything from Dandamis, come you to him." And well, logically, when the conqueror Alexander heard this reply, he felt even more desire to go and meet Dandamis. That although old, that Indian sage and mystic had made him felt, somewhat very intrigued and powerless. And when he met him, he wanted to gain his knowledge and wisdom, but could not convince him in any way of teaching or submitting to him. And for a long while, Alexander just sat in silence, in front of him in the forest. And then Dandamis asked him why he had come to him, and said, "I have nothing to offer you, because we have no thought of pleasure or gold. We love God and despise death, whereas you love pleasure, gold, and kill people. You fear death and despise God." And then he also said, "Besides, what will you do with the world? All you need is 2 yards, 2 yards long and 2 yards deep. Ultimately, that's all that will belong to you." And well, it seems then that not having anything more to say, a humbled Alexander went on his own way. And this man, Dandamis, he's a true free man. One of the few that have roamed the earth. The amazing thing here is, in all this, is that this is not new. It is hundreds of years old. And we have been warned. We have been warned many, many, many times throughout the ages. And something similar is written in every sacred text of every major faith, religion, and civilization around the world. But as always, we humans have been deaf, blind, and stubborn. And well, if you don't believe me, let me show you quickly some samples here. In Christianity, it says, "For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." 1 Timothy 6:10 from the Bible. In another passage it says, "No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and Mammon." From Matthew 6:24 from the Bible. And in another one it says, "Again, the devil took him up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, All these things I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only you shall serve." From Matthew 4:8-10 from the Bible. In Judaism, it says, "Behold the man who will not make God his refuge, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and was strong in his evil desire." From the TANAKH, Book 2 of Psalms, Psalm 52:7. In Islam, it says, "Surely humankind is ungrateful to their Lord, and they certainly attest to this, and they are truly extreme in their love of worldly gains. Do they not know that when the contents of the grapes will be spilled out, and the secrets of the heart will be laid bare, surely their Lord is all aware of them on that day." From the Quran, Al-Adiyat 100, 6 to 11. And there's another one, it says, competition for more gains diverts you from Allah until you end up in your graves. But no, you will soon come to know. Again, no, you will soon come to know. Indeed, if you were to know your fate with certainty, you will have acted differently, but you will surely see the hellfire. Again, you will surely see it with the eye of certainty. Then on that day, you will definitely be questioned about your worldly pleasures. From the Quran, At-Takathur 102, 1 to 6. In Hinduism, it says, there are 3 gates leading to the hell of self-destruction for the soul: lust, anger, and greed. Therefore, all should abandon these 3. From the GITA 16:21. And there's another one in Hinduism. It says, one may amass wealth with hundreds of hands, but one should also distribute it with thousands of hands. If someone keeps all that he accumulates for himself and does not give it to others, the hoarded wealth will eventually prove to be the cause of ruin. From the VEDA 10:1776. In Buddhism, it says, Buddha said, I say unto thee, remain in thy station of life. Apply thyself with diligence with thy enterprises. It's not life, wealth, and power that enslave man, but the cleaving to life and wealth and power. From the PALI CANON, the TIPITAKA. And there's another one that says, now, what is unskillful? Taking life is unskillful. Taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, lying, abusive speech, divisive tale-bearing, idle chatter is unskillful. Covetous, ill will, wrong views are unskillful. These things are termed unskillful. And what are the roots of what is unskillful? Greed is a root of what is unskillful. Aversion is a root of what is unskillful. Delusion is a root of what is unskillful. These are termed the roots of what is unskillful. From the Samadhi Sutta. And knowing all this, what do we human beings do? And what have we done from time immemorial? Well, exactly all the opposite of this. And we have reached a point of imbalance that will end up probably destructing ourselves. We need today more equilibrium. We need today more of Dandamis and much less of Alexander. So, well, it is good to create awareness, to give this a little thought, in our lives, in our daily lives. Remember that when we die, we will not take anything, because from dust we are, and to dust we shall return. Well, okay. If you like this video, give it a like, feel free to comment, and subscribe to my channel.